Quirin. Fucking Jasper is attacking my pack. Again. When is this asshole going to realize that he can't defeat me? This time, he must have gotten some friends to help him, but they aren't the scrappy fighters that my warriors and I are. Other than me, my pack is made up solely of rogues, the misfits that the other packs kicked out. Okay, yeah, some of them are dangerous and I have to keep them in line, but they're deadly, and Jasper needs to learn that no amount of money is worth your life. When I claimed my father's pack at 18, I learned just how hard he'd worked to ensure my financial stability when I took over the pack. I know a lot of the wars that he fought were to obtain better pack lands, easier and cheaper access to water, electricity, and other necessities. He did it all for me. And now, I am by far the richest alpha I've ever met. I'm richer than Henry and richer than Warren. You'd never know it to look at me and my pack members. We don't dress like we're rich, we don't strut around like we're high and mighty like the rich do, but my pack wants for nothing. More than anyone, the rogues understand protecting what's theirs. It's another reason that I took them all in. They're fantastic fighters to have lasted in the wild on their own, which is the primary reason that I allow them into my pack. Not only that, but they also understand the value of protecting what they have. And what they have is this pack, a home, and me as their alpha. I don't know how fucking Jasper gets away again, but I know that I practically ripped his leg off this time. I'd chase after him and kill him, but I have a birthday party to attend tonight. Connor and Kennedy Hill turned 18 today. Connor will take over the pack from his father, Alpha Warren, who I despise with every bone in my body. I've refused to create an alliance with him because the man killed my father. I watched him do it. That memory is burned into my brain and is one of the worst moments of my life. My father was a great man. Alpha Harold told me that he was greedy, that he was responsible for most of the pack wars that occurred back then. But I know that he did it all for me. My father loved me. I definitely know that. My father loved me more than his own life, giving his life for mine. My mother wasn't that way. She protected me, but once she realized that I was safe and she lost her status in the pack, she let herself wither away and die. In the end, she loved her status more than she loved me. Alpha, what should we do with the dead? Kier, my beta asks. I look around, pleased that my warriors killed so many of Jasper's pack or the pack members of those he recruited to attack me. Pile them up and dump them outside Jasper's pack lands, I growl. Kier smiles. With pleasure, Alpha. I have to go get ready for this fucking party. Are you good? I ask. He snorts. That should be fun. An alpha's duties never end, I say. Do yourself a favor, Alpha, find yourself a sweet little pussy to bury yourself in. I grunt in response and head up to my room. While I don't shy away from a woman who wants me, I've never fucked anyone in Alpha Warren's pack. It's not because I care what he thinks about me. I could give a shit what Warren thinks of me. It's her. That little witch of a woman who has always seen way too much. I climb into the shower, letting the blood and guts wash off of me as I think about her. Kennedy. I've watched her grow into a woman who far outshines her mother. Luna Yara is beautiful, no one can deny it. But Kennedy. That girl is something to behold. I guess today she's technically a woman. I smile as I think about her. She hates it that I still call her pup. I've long since stopped thinking of her as a pup. That ended the first time I woke up, having a wet dream about that beautiful woman. Maybe because of that, I became even more antagonistic about calling her pup when I saw her. And her scent, her sweet citrus and mint scent has only gotten stronger and more mouth-watering as she's gotten older. What hasn't changed is her watchfulness and her insightfulness. The woman sees everything, far more than she should. And for some reason, her focus seems to be almost entirely on me. I should despise it, I should be mad or irritated that she's constantly watching me, noticing me in ways that others don't. But from her, I almost crave it. I love that such a beautiful girl, a beautiful woman, watches me. I've seen the others falling all over themselves to get to her. Kennedy, being Connor's twin sister and the oldest of the alpha females in Warren's pack, is much sought after by other alphas. I know that even Henry, who has yet to find his mate, wants her. But I've seen her ignore their advances just to watch me. I'm not sure that she knows how often I see her watching me, but every time I'm in the room with her, I keep an eye on her, watching me. And every time I see her, that golden glow around her, that beautiful light of sweet and delicate inner beauty glows brighter and brighter. Part of me hopes that she finds her mate tonight. The other part of me wants to kill anyone who comes close to taking her from me. That part comes from Raif, my wolf. He's been enamored with Kennedy since she was a pup. He's snubbed every other female we've ever seen, and goddess forbid that I talk about taking a chosen mate. He snarls and throws such a tantrum in my head that I can't sleep, and it makes my head throb until I relent. Not that any woman is dumb enough to accept me as her mate. I'm not stupid. I'm an alpha and women want the prestige of being a Luna. But being mated to me wouldn't be easy. I'm too dark and eventually, I drag anyone who gets too close to me into the darkness that surrounds me. It's another reason that I hope that Kennedy finds her mate tonight. She deserves better than the darkness that someone like me could give her. I told her years ago that she should be afraid of me, but for some reason, that little pup never heeded my words. A part of me, deep down in my heart, is glad that she didn't. I'm distracted as I get out of the shower, so I don't smell his scent until he barks at me. What the fuck, Q? You were in a battle today? Why the fuck didn't you call me? Henry says, glaring at me from across my room. I frown. I'm going to have to tell my patrols to start letting me know when you enter the pack lands. They know I'm your brother and don't change the subject. Your pack smells like blood, death, and war. Why didn't you call? Because I didn't need you. We were fine. Fucking Jasper was after my money again. And let's be honest, you take a lot more time to get ready for these parties than I do, I say to my best friend and brother. Okay, he's my only friend. He rolls his eyes at me and throws himself on the love seat in my room. I don't take a long time. I look at him, realizing that he's taken a bit longer tonight than he usually does. He's dressed in an expensive cream-colored linen pantsuit that is casual but on him also looks very chic. If I tried that, I'd look like a mob boss trying to pretend I was on holiday at the beach. He crosses a leg over his knee, and I see that he has new loafers to go with the nice linen suit. Did you buy all new clothes for tonight? What the fuck, Henry? Are you hoping that Kennedy is your mate? I ask joking. I turn to go into my closet to get dressed but when he doesn't answer me, I turn back. Are you fucking kidding me? Something dark inside of me threatens to push forward. I love Henry, more than anyone in the world. I love this man who is like a brother to me, but at the moment, thinking of him with Kennedy, I'm ready to rip him to shreds. Would that be so bad, Q? She's gorgeous, she's smart, she's about the sweetest woman I've ever met. She'd make a good Luna, he says, shrugging and looking away from me. I can tell that he's seriously hoping that she's his mate. Honestly, he'd be the perfect mate to her. He's exactly the kind of man that she should end up with. But the thought of her ending up with anyone has Rife thrashing around in my head. Knock it off, I tell my wolf. I'll kill him if he touches her. No, you won't. He's my best friend. She's nothing but a pretty pup, I say, but I know I don't mean it. She's one of the few people that can put a warm glow into my dark and angry heart. Keep telling yourself that, Rife says. I notice that Henry is watching me, so I do what I always do when I don't want others paying attention to me. I get snarky. It usually works, except with one little brunette with intelligent gray-green eyes. Who knows, maybe Connor is your mate, and you can become his Luna, I say, chuckling as I go into the closet. You're such an asshole, Q. I don't know I even bothered to come over here to get you. Yeah, why did you? I ask. He looks at me. I wasn't sure you'd come otherwise. Normally, he'd be right. But I can't miss that little pup's birthday. I even got her a present. I got one for Connor too, but his gift is money. He's the incoming alpha, so if he's smart, he'll put it toward the pack. But for Kennedy, I wanted something special. Rife insisted that I get her jewelry, preferably something with a wolf's head that looks like him. So, I had a wolf's head made in pewter and onyx, since Rife's fur is midnight black, and then I had diamonds put into his eyes, since April is her birth month. I'm nervous to give it to her, but I'm pretty sure, knowing her like I do, that even if she doesn't like it, she'll say she does and that she'll wear it any time she expects to see me. I finish getting ready, wearing black pants and a form-fitting black button-down shirt with black dress shoes. I roll the sleeves up, hating to be this formal. You sure you want to do that? Henry asks as I roll up my sleeves. Yeah. Why wouldn't I? I ask him. Luna Yara and Alpha Kennedy are going to see those marks on you. They'll know you were fighting today. I stop and look at my arms. He's right, they will notice and neither woman will let it go. Damn it. I roll my sleeves back down, feeling even more grumpy now than I did before. Are you ready? I was waiting on you, brother, he says, smiling and slapping me on the back as he stands. I glare at him, then we head down to his car and begin to make our way to the party. Kennedy. I watch as my mother prepares the woman on the bed in front of her. Sometimes I get to be in the room, helping by giving her the tools that she needs to complete her surgeries, or stitching up our pack members after she's done. But since today is my 18th birthday, she told me I could assist. It didn't hurt that I told her that it was the only thing that I wanted for my birthday. When you do a cesarean section, you have to be careful where and how you cut. You don't want to cut too deep and risk injuring the pup, and you don't want to cut too high on the mother's stomach because you could cut the pup, she says, pointing to the area where she wants me to cut. Thankfully, it's Anna who is having a baby today. It's her fourth pup with her mate, Bennett, their oopsie baby 13 years after the birth of their third pup. It's why my mother suggested that she have the C-section rather than try to deliver naturally. It's also why I'm allowed to assist. I've grown up around Anna and all of the nurses and doctors in the hospital. I've spent every possible minute of my life in this hospital. I love the medical world, love the idea of becoming a doctor just like my mother. While the others in my family were sparring and training to become strong warriors, I was here, learning everything I possibly could about medicine, anatomy, and being a surgeon. Thankfully, when my mother told Anna that assisting in a surgery was the only thing I wanted for my birthday, she offered to schedule her C-section today. I was a little surprised, but since I've stitched up her pups before, and I've worked so closely with Anna, she agreed. My mother had me practice cutting on a medical dummy that she and Beta Noel use in the hospital teaching rooms. I sliced that poor mannequin nearly to pieces. I've practiced so many times. I take a breath and look up at Anna. Her mate is holding her hand and murmuring to her. Focus, Kennedy, my mother says patiently. Anna's eyes flash to me and she winks. You've got this, Kennedy. I nod and turn back to her stomach, putting the edge of the scalpel against her stomach where my mother is pointing and, using the pressure that I've practiced so many times, I make the incision. Very good, Kennedy. Just a little further. Perfect, she says, and I pull the scalpel away, smiling hugely as I step back to let my mother do the rest. A few minutes later, she's carefully pulling the baby from Anna's uterus and laying her on Anna's chest. Congratulations, on your baby boy, she says to them. I know that Bennett is thrilled to be having a boy. Their first 3 children were girls. I ready myself to assist my mother with closing up Anna's stomach when she turns to me. Your father and brother are asking about you, she says. I look up at the clock and realize that it's mid-afternoon. I sigh. I really don't care about the party. The only reason I'm even partially excited is because Alpha Quirin will be here. There are a lot of other alphas that will be here too, including Alpha Henry, who I like. But the others are just hoping to have an alpha female for a mate. My sisters would be better options for them. They are all excited about becoming Lunas of their own packs. Me. There's only one man for me. He just happens to be an alpha as well. I fell in love with Alpha Quirin when I was 6 years old. There was something about him at Alpha Henry's 18th birthday party that drew me to him. I'd watched him all night, then followed him outside. I don't know why it felt safe with him that night. But I have every other time I've been around him since then. I don't see him often, not nearly as often as I'd like. But I've noticed that he's not as curt or abrupt with me when I approach him as he is with other people. I got my wolf, Echo, on my 10th birthday. That night, at my party, she had agreed that there was something about Alpha Quirin. Maybe because he's an older alpha and doesn't play the stupid games that the others play, or maybe because he refuses to let the other alphas tease me in any way, but I've always seen him as a protector. Others find his quiet, glowering nature offensive, but not me. Unlike Alpha Henry, who is easygoing and has lots of friends, you have to work to get on Alpha Quirin's good side. I've only known a couple of people who have earned that privilege and remained there. I count myself as one of the few. Over the years, I've watched as daring women have approached him during these gatherings. I've also watched while he assessed them and took some to bed with him. I've tried to determine what it was about those women that made him decide to be with them and not others. I haven't figured it out yet, and maybe he hasn't either. I've never seen him take the same woman to bed more than once at these parties. If they approach him again at another party, he turns them down. My mother says the women want him because he's a challenge. My father says they want him for his wealth. I want him because I want to get past the hard, crusty exterior that he puts up in front of others. Over the years, I've had glimpses of the man underneath the armor, and I want him. I want that man, the man that very few, if any, ever get to experience. Kennedy, are you coming? You still have to get ready, and Dad says we can't start the party until the birthday twins arrive. Connor won't join the party until you do, so hurry up. My sister Wendy says. She's 15 and thrilled at the idea of seeing all of the alphas that will be here tonight. I'm on my way, I say, knowing that I need to get ready. My twin brother, Connor, is officially old enough to take over as alpha from my father. I know my father is excited to be able to pass the torch of the pack to my brother. I also know that Connor was disappointed when he didn't smell his mate first thing this morning. She's not in our pack, but that doesn't mean that she's not in another pack. Every eligible male and female alpha will be at our birthday party tonight, which has my siblings in a tizzy of excitement. It's an important day for Connor, which makes it an important day for me. My twin is my best friend, and I won't ruin this party for him. Congratulations, I say to Anna and Bennett. Thank you. I have a gift for you even though we won't be able to join your party tonight. I'll give it to your mother to give you. You didn't have to do that, I tell her. Of course we did. You just helped to deliver our baby, didn't you? Bennett asks me. I smile. Well, thank you. I know I'll love it, I say. I head back to the pack house and spend the next couple of hours getting ready for my party. Because it's such a big deal, to everyone but me anyway, I have someone come in to do my hair and makeup. The dress I chose for tonight is a grayish-green color, something close to sage but lighter. It was the closest I could find to match my eyes. Alpha Quirin told me once that I have beautiful eyes, so I made a point to highlight them tonight. When I look in the mirror, I hardly recognize myself. My hair is half up and half down with sparkling diamond pins and clips holding it in place. I chose the dress specifically because I want Alpha Quirin to see me as a woman, not as the pup that he always calls me. Little pup. Ever since that first night that I spoke to him, he's always called me little pup. I would despise the name if it didn't make me feel somewhat special. No one else gets a pet name from Alpha Quirin. The floor-length gown is covered in sequins, adding a brightness to the dress. The sleeves are straps that hang off the shoulder and there's a small train in the back that adds a softness to the overall feel of the gown. Kennedy, are you ready? I hear Connor's voice in my head. Yes, where are you? Outside your door, he says, and I can hear the laughter in his voice. I open the door and see my very handsome brother standing there waiting for me. Where I got my mother's looks, he looks almost identical to my father. Unlike my father, his dark hair is shoulder length, and he got my father's brownish-green eyes, making his eyes darker than mine. He's wearing a suit that fits him perfectly, accenting his broad shoulders and narrow waist. He will have the women at the party drooling over him. They do anyway, but tonight, he looks every bit the alpha heir that he is. Why, Alpha Connor, how very nice of you to be my escort, I say, smiling at my twin. His tie and cummerbund are a close match to the color of my dress. We'll look very good walking into our party together. He snaps his feet together and gives me a formal bow before extending his arm to me. How was the surgery? Mom said you were brilliant, as always, he says. My brother has always been my biggest supporter with my mother a close second. Oh, it was fantastic, Connor, I say excitedly, making him chuckle. Good. Now remember, no matter what happens today, you will always be my twin and my best friend. I hope that we both find our mates, but if not, then we keep looking, I say, knowing how important it is for him. Then we keep looking. But, if we're both lucky and you end up leaving for your new home soon, never forget that I'm here for you anytime you need me. Thanks, Connor. Now we'd better go before Wendy bursts something in her excitement. I laugh as he begins leading me down the stairs. I turn, as I hear the gasps of the people in the room, watching as my brother and I make our way down the stairs. I look around the room, not seeing Alpha Quirin and feeling a stab of disappointment that he's not here. He was the only one I was hoping to see. The room breaks out in happy birthday as we get to the bottom step. From there, we're separated by the massive number of people who want to say hello and wish us happy birthday. I'm about halfway through the room of people when Echo stands up in my head. Echo? I ask just as I hear a nearly feral snarl behind me and the scent of sandalwood floods my nose. I turn and see that the partygoers have separated, leaving a space for me to see Alpha Quirin standing across the room from me, his nose in the air as he drinks in my scent. I gasp as he opens his eyes and focuses his intense gaze on me. Mate, his wolf, Rife, growls. The entire room has gone quiet and almost as one, all heads turn to stare at me. I swallow hard, excitement and desire flooding my system and overwhelming me. Thankfully, Echo has no problem managing these feelings. She's thrilled. Mate, she purrs. Quirin. When Henry and I pulled up to the pack house, I smelled her before I even opened the door. Quirin, where are you going? Henry asks as I quickly leap out of the car and make my way to the pack house. I ignore him. I have to see her. It's all I can do to keep Rife under control as he pulls me into the pack house. Once inside, the place is packed and I can't see her, can't find her. Rife snarls angrily and the party guests part like the Red Sea. There, across the room from me, is Kennedy. My mate. Rife announces it before I can stop him. Part of me is thrilled. There's always been something about Kennedy that has drawn me in, something that has made me feel protective and even possessive at times. And now, I know why, she's my fated mate. The other part of me knows that the words that I spoke to her all those years ago were accurate. Men like me are no good for little pups like you. I hadn't been lying. She deserves someone like Henry, or even someone like her brother. Instead, the moon goddess has decided to punish her with someone like me. I should reject her, I should set her free, but I know I can't. I'm much too selfish for that. Mate, she says. I know it's her wolf who replies to Rife, but watching her sweet mouth say the word that I've only dared to dream that she would say to me, makes the possessiveness that I've held on to tightly flare inside of me. It didn't escape me that everyone, every single person in the room, turned to look at her when I called her my mate. I'm sure they all thought she'd reject me. And maybe she will. If she's smart, she will. I refuse to accept it, Rife says. She's ours. I want her. I want them both. Rife has wanted Echo from the moment he first saw her. Of course, back then she was much too young for me or him to do anything. I'd always felt the pull to this little pup, but once she had her wolf, the pull had become even stronger. I stare at her across the room, not moving as I watch her big gray-green eyes go wide. I realize that her dress brings out the color of those eyes, making them stand out against her pale skin and dark brown hair. Stop making our mate think we don't want her, Rife growls before literally pushing me forward. Rather than stopping and looking like a fool, I slowly walk up to Kennedy. Some might call it a prowl, the predator hunting his prey. But since the prey looks eager to be captured, I'm not sure it's an accurate assessment. Happy birthday, little pup, I say to her and instantly I get the response I expected. Her lips press together but before she can come back with some smart retort, I wrap my arm around her and pull her against me, pressing my lips to hers. Her submission is instant, and it makes me hard as I press myself against her, devouring her. I'm not gentle with the kiss, growling possessively as I take her mouth and finally get to taste her for the first time. Her citrus and mint scent tastes better than any dream that I ever had of her. My mouth waters and my desire to shred her clothes and make her mine right now is almost overwhelming. When I finally pull back I look at her, my mate. We're leaving, I growl. What? She asks, frowning while still looking dazed. I love that dazed look on her face. Alpha Quirin, it's Kennedy's birthday. The party has just begun. Surely you don't intend to take her away from her party already. I don't have to turn to know that it's Alpha Connor who is speaking. The man looks exactly like his father and for that alone, I despise him. But he's Kennedy's twin and I know that she considers him her best friend. It's the only reason I don't kill him for trying to keep me from taking my mate. There are too many unmated alphas in this room for my liking, I growl, never looking away from my mate. No one is stupid enough to try and take your mate from you. Everyone saw that the two of you are mates. Let her have her birthday party. That comes from Henry. He's come up behind me and is speaking softly. Of course they won't. I would kill anyone who touches her, I growl loudly, making sure every alpha here knows that she's mine. Alpha Quirin. This time it's the sweet voice of Luna Yara. She, like Henry, is one of the few people in this world that I would never ignore or hurt. We worked very hard to have a nice party for our twins. Would you please reconsider your need to take Kennedy from us so soon? I realize that, through all of this, my mate hasn't said a word. What do you want, Kennedy? I see the instant happiness that I used her name, rather than calling her little pup. I want to be with you, she says, and it's like she's turned her beacon of light on me, pushing away all my darkness. Such is the power that this little wolf, barely an adult, has over me. We should stay and celebrate you. But we're leaving tonight, I tell her. Okay. Okay, I say, finally pulling my eyes away from her. I turn to the room and see that everyone is staring at us. Well, is this a party or what? I growl. The music starts again and I move to stand behind my mate, glaring at any unmarked male who even looks this way. Others come up to wish my mate happy birthday, but they quickly move away. Alpha Quirin, it is customary in this pack that the first dance on a birthday goes to the mother or father of the birthday boy or girl. I'm assuming, since you are well aware of this tradition, that you have no problem with me dancing with my daughter, Alpha Warren says. His hand is already extended to Kennedy, and I see that Connor and Luna Yara are also about to step out onto the dance floor. They're just waiting for me. Kennedy looks up at me, as if it's my decision. I guess everyone here knows that I have no problem fighting them if I don't like what's going on. It's tradition, right? I ask her. Right, she says and turns to me, taking my hand. Don't disappear on me. I'm not going anywhere, I say. It's meant as a threat, but rather than the fear that it should cause in her, I get her megawatt smile. That smile has always fascinated me. How can one person be so happy? I watch as her father leads her onto the dance floor and the two of them begin to move around the dance floor, easily and gracefully. I'm content to watch her gliding across the floor, but my best friend and brother has other plans. Stop being such a prick, Q, I have no idea what you're talking about, I say obstinately. Of course you do. You're not stupid. Stopping ruining this night for her. I'm not ruining anything for her. I asked what she wanted, and she said she wanted to be with me. I have no intention of letting any of these lecherous men get close to what's mine. Do you count me as one of those lecherous men? He growls, but I hear the hurt behind it. I turn and look at him. I know you wanted her. But she's mine. Maybe I don't deserve her, but I can't let her go. If you can respect that, then we're good. If you can't, then we have a problem. He turns and looks at me. That will very much depend on how you treat her, Quirin. If you mistreat her. Then what, Henry? I ask. Let's not find out, okay? And for the record, I'm insulted that you would think that wouldn't respect the mate bond. Anyone's mate bond, he says, walking out onto the dance floor and asking my mate to dance. I see Kennedy look over at me, as if once again questioning if it's okay for her to dance with someone else. Am I that overbearing? Probably. What are you doing, Quirin? About what, Luna Farah, I say sighing. There are maybe 5 people in this world that I care about. 4 of them have approached me tonight. Well, technically, I approached Kennedy, but the other 3, Henry, Luna Yara, and now Luna Farah, have approached me on Kennedy's behalf. I'm wondering when Alpha Harold will approach me. This is her night, Quirin, she says. I'm not surprised that the massive aura that I'm pushing out to keep people away isn't keeping Luna Farah away. It never did. And I'm letting her have it, I quip. Letting her. What an interesting way to phrase it. How kind of you to let her have her birthday party, she growls softly. I sigh. You know I hate these things. And I know that if you love someone, that it doesn't matter what you want, Quirin. And if you can't love that girl the way that she deserves, then reject her. It will hurt her now, but she'll thank you later. She's mine, I growl, low enough that no one else will overhear. Then make sure you treat her like that means something, Quirin. She's a sweet girl, smart and loving. If you intend to stay mated to her, then don't you dare take that away from her. She walks off just as Alpha Harold walks up to Kennedy. He looks over at me and it's obvious that he's daring me to question his intentions with my mate. I don't. He has his own mate and I lived with him long enough to know that he loves Luna Farah with all of his heart. What no one else seems to realize is that I love Kennedy with all of my heart. I just don't show it the way that others do. Kennedy. Every time someone asks me to dance, I take the opportunity to look over at Quirin. First, I was surprised by his possessiveness of me, and I'm afraid to do something that will make him think that I don't want him. I do want him. I always have. But second, I'm afraid he'll run. It's not that he's a fearful man, well, at least not usually. But I've been watching my mate for years, and I know that when it comes to emotions, he's not very good at handling them. Luna Kennedy, how do you feel about being mated to my adopted son? Alpha Harold asks as we dance. I'm very happy about it, Alpha, I tell him truthfully. Not many women would say that. My son isn't an easy man to get close to. I've never found it that difficult. No, I guess you haven't. Have you ever been to his pack, Luna? I love that he keeps calling me Luna. Until Quirin called me mate, I was an alpha, but now, being a Luna means that I've found the man I love. I can't wait until his mark is on my neck and mine is on his, so I can show everyone that he is mine. No, I haven't, Alpha. You have though, right? Yes. I'll warn you, Kennedy, Quirin's pack is different. His pack is made up of previous rogues, scrappy individuals who are used to fighting for what they have and what they want. You're a strong woman, Kennedy. It will take a strong woman to make her way in a pack like that. I'll do my very best, Alpha, I tell him. I'm sure you will, he says just before his eyes shift to look over my head. A moment later I feel heat at my back and smell his sandalwood scent. Are you going to let me dance with my mate, Father? I was just warming her up for you, Quirin. Luna Kennedy, I do hope to see you soon. Thank you, Alpha, I say to him and then turn to my mate. He looks at me a moment, his eyebrow going up in the arrogant way that he has. Personally, I've always found it extremely sexy. I didn't know you danced, Alpha Quirin, I say as he takes me in his arms. I've never had anyone I was interested in dancing with before, little pup, he says. I ignore the pup part and revel in the thought that he wants to dance with me. He begins to expertly move me around the floor. Where did you learn to dance like this, Alpha? I ask him. He looks at me. Quirin, Kennedy. If we're going to be mated, we should be more familiar, don't you think? I smile at him, and even though he doesn't smile, I watch his eyes soften. Where did you learn to dance, Quirin? My mother, mostly. My father said that alphas needed to know how to dance so we could play the mate game, searching for our mate, finding her, wooing her, all of that. Since you've searched for and found me, is this a game to you? I ask him. Or are you wooing me? I was never good at playing games, little pup. I am who I am. I don't have time for frivolous things like playing games, he says, and there's something in his tone, something that makes me think he's trying to warn me off of him. It won't work. So, you're wooing me then? I ask. He looks down at me, and the intense look in his eyes takes my breath away. I'm going to make you mine tonight, Kennedy. There will be no going back, no second chances. After tonight, you will be mine forever. You will belong to me. You should think about that before we leave here tonight. Because once my mark is on you, I will never allow you to leave me. Well, once my mark is on you, I'll never allow you to leave me either. So perhaps you should be the one thinking about things before we leave tonight, I say indignantly, my tone expressing my aggravation with his words. I'm rewarded with one of his rare smiles. I've done nothing but think about it since Raif called you our mate. You're questioning if you want me as a mate? I ask quietly. His face becomes more serious. Do you remember what I said to you that night in the garden on Henry's 18th birthday? You said men like you are no good for little pups like me. But I disagree. I can see the surprise on his face. I'm not sure if it's because I remembered or because I disagree with him. And do you remember what you said to me after that? He asks. I said I'm not afraid of you. I remember that night as if it were yesterday. I've relived it 1,000 times in my mind and in my dreams. And you never have been, have you, little pup? No. Why is that? Others are terrified of me. Most people won't even come close enough to speak to me. But not you. Never you. You always made a point of coming over to talk to me, didn't you? You don't scare me. You never did, I tell him honestly. I'm not sure what he would have said, but at that moment, my father begins tapping a glass. He calls Connor and I to the front of the room, wishing us a happy birthday and announcing my brother's alpha ceremony in 1 week. Alpha Quirin, I do hope that you and Kennedy will be here to see her twin take his place as alpha of the pack, my father says. I know of the animosity between my father and my mate. It's been there all of my life, and I know why the animosity is there. The only difference is the perspective of the man telling the story. I see Quirin ready to decline, but I refuse to miss such a momentous occasion for my brother. Of course we'll be here, father, I say before Quirin can decline. Excellent, he says, not giving Quirin a chance to overrule me. Now, your mother and I have gifts for the two of you. He turns and my mother joins him, handing him a box before coming to me and handing me a box. Oh mother, you didn't have to, I say. You're my daughter. And now, it feels even more important since you're going to be leaving and starting your own life, she says, with tears in her eyes. I hug her, long enough that I hear the ohs and ahs from the others gathered around. I'm sure it's about my brother's watch. I've seen it already and I know it cost a fortune. It's a rare, very expensive watch that my father felt my brother should have. Thank you, father. Thank you, mother, he says, putting the watch on. Your turn, Kennedy, my father says. I smile, looking over at Quirin. I see something like regret on his face, but I'm not sure why he'd be regretful of whatever my parents got me. I open the box and it's a gorgeous diamond necklace. Oh, it's so beautiful. I say. Let me put it on you, my mother says. I knew it would go perfectly with your dress, she says. When it's clasped, I turn and hug her. Thank you. Then I go to my father and hug him as well. Thank you. Of course. Let's have some cake. He says, tucking me against his side as he announces cake to the room. Listen, Kennedy. Before you leave, I wanted to tell you, my father begins. Kennedy, let's go have some cake and then we need to think about leaving, Quirin says, coming up behind me. I can feel the tension between the two men, and I can also tell that my father doesn't want to let me go. He doesn't trust Quirin to take care of me. I pull away from my father. There is no choice for me. Quirin has always been the man I've wanted. He is my mate. I'm an alpha wolf and I love a challenge just like any alpha. I know that things between me and Quirin won't always be easy, but I know that there is no one else for me. Yes, Quirin, let's go get some cake. I take his hand and lead him away from my parents. It's only about an hour later, when Quirin tells me that I need to go pack my things. Since we're apparently coming back in a week, just bring what you need for now. I'll make plans to get a truck and we can bring everything else back next week when we're here. Okay, I say, starting to get nervous. I won't take too long. I find my mother, and ask her to help me, before heading upstairs to pack up my life. I'm ready to move and leave this pack and my family behind me, ready to start my new life with Quirin, wherever that may lead.